Welcome back to the Your Next Move podcast with me, your host, Kimberly Brown. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to give you a warning right now. This is more of a truth telling episode where I want to give you the advice that I give my clients. But especially recently, I've had some experiences where I realize I need to remind myself of these things too. So I have 6 reminders that I keep in rotation for myself and for my clients that I want to share. So let's just get right into it. So, step number 1, show up when you're scared. When I'm afraid, it is so easy to hide, to procrastinate, to plan, to overplan, to document, to research, to do everything but do the thing. And I recently piloted a new talk that I'm hoping will eventually become a viral TED talk last week in Nashville. And it was all about fear and how fear really means go. It does not mean stop. It does not mean hide. It does not mean play small. It does not mean any of those things. And fear is generally the number one thing in between where you are and where you'd like to be. And that goes for myself and it goes for my clients. Time and time and time again, we see that because we're afraid, we go for plan B instead of plan A. I had a coach years ago tell me, as we were working through what my plans were for the year, he sat me down and he was like, can you explain to me how we decided to do B? Because we agreed that A was what we are working on. Nothing has stopped you from doing A, but yet you've come up with this magical B solution. He's like, this is not a solution, it's a cop out. And it was because of fear. Fear is the thing that keeps me, that keeps you, that keeps so many people from doing the thing that's going to help them actually reach their goals. So showing up when you're scared and when you're fearful is number 1. Number 2, take time to plan. Now, this is not to contradict what I just said. I mean, planning for your own success, planning for your week, planning in a way that makes you feel good. When I take about an hour on Sundays to map out my week, I move with flawless execution. I feel grounded, and Mondays don't feel chaotic. I know this works. But sometimes I just don't want to turn the laptop on. I don't want to look at my planner. I am one with my man and the couch and my dog, and we are binging Netflix and just chilling out, eating Cheez Its and some snacks. And that is not going to help me reach my goals. But planning, taking just an hour, sometimes I could do it in less, magically changes the game. For my clients, I always ask them, are you setting yourself up for success? Are you doing whatever it is that you need in order to show up as the best you possible? I frequently work with my clients on things like public speaking, and many times they'll want to just show up with a good deck and hope that it works. And I ask them, is that actually how your brain works? Can you just show up with a deck or do you need to rehearse it? When you have that deck, do you need notes on each slide and you need a confidence monitor so you can kind of read the notes? Do you even need a script? What is it that you actually need? And how about we do that thing instead of doing whatever other thing we come up with? So, setting yourself up for success is key. That is my number 2. And for me, that looks like setting myself up on Sundays. Number 3, this is a big one for me, is saying no when it's not a hell yes, especially in business. The example I'll give you is with one-on-one clients. So recently, over the past 6 months, I've had the urge to do some one-on-one coaching and I absolutely love it. But I have a rule. If I have a one-on-one client who happens to be in my city or I'm in their city and I imagine that I had the busiest day possible, would I want to make time to see them for 20 minutes and grab a drink or grab an appetizer, grab a tea, a coffee, whatever it is? Would I want to make the time? And if I don't feel a connection with the client, so much so that I would want to rearrange my schedule or squeeze it in if I could, I generally don't take that person as a client. Because for me, that is my hell yes. I like to like my one on one clients. Even if they are strangers who've just come in through my inbox and applied to coach with me, there is generally a connection that I feel with the best clients every single time. And every single time that I'm like, I don't know, something's a little off, and I say yes anyways, I pay for it every single time. And same with the B2B side of my business. When I say yes to corporate clients, where I was a little nervous and I felt not nervous in a way of I'm afraid that I can't deliver, or I'm not sure if my company is ready for this. But afraid in the stakeholder seems a little off, or they seem a little disorganized, or I'm like, oh, it won't be that bad. Saying it won't be that bad almost every time it is that bad. And I think about this with friends, with family, with everything else. When someone asks me if I want to do something, if I want to show up somewhere, if it is not a hell yes, it needs to be a no. And I can't let myself get guilted or pressured, peer pressured to people please and say yes, because every single time I'm the one who's paying for it. There was this Instagram video that I saw a while ago where this guy was talking about people pleasers. And he was like, have you asked yourself, are you pleased? And I don't know why, but that hit me in the gut. I was like, am I pleased? I am not pleased when it's not a hell yes. So I am working on saying no. And I train my clients to do the same. Number 4 is using your voice even when it shakes. I coach my clients to speak up and lead with clarity, and I still have to remind myself that no one can advocate for me better than me. Say it for yourself. No one can advocate for me better than me. It's important that I speak up even when I'm nervous, even when I'm scared, to make sure that I have whatever it is that I need and to use my voice. And this could be as simple as speaking up at a roundtable discussion when I know I have something to say, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't say it. This could be speaking up at an event and raising my hand to ask a question. This could be anytime that you feel the need. It could be with your partner at home and something bothers you and you're like, I'm just going to let it go. Don't speak up and advocate for yourself, even if it makes someone else uncomfortable. And that's a lesson that I teach myself time and time again, and I work on with my clients. Number 5 is I say a lot of things are my favorite, and probably because when I do this podcast, I'm putting together things that I feel like are good. So excuse me if I've said this already, but rest is a power move. Productivity without restoration is a setup for burnout, and rest is not a reward for overworking. It is a part of the plan. If you listen to the last episode of the podcast, I put together a whole entire guide of helping you understand how do you take a work break without the panic? How do you plan for it? And early on in my career, and honestly, I can't even say early on, y'all, up until a few years ago, I was known to work myself to the bone. I would be exhausted. I would be tired. I would catch a cold because I worked so hard. I did not plan and rest. And each year, I get a little bit better. Each year, I respect my time and my calendar boundaries and the amount of meetings that I take. Each year, I plan weeks where I can just think and work on different projects. Each year, I take less clients and I charge my worth, and it allows me to rest because I don't want to make time for burnout, to make time for exhaustion, and make time for sickness. So I make time for rest. And I have to tell my clients this all the time. If you follow me on threads, I know probably just a month ago, I was talking about my calendar and how I need to get a full time administrative assistant again or a chief of staff because my calendar has gotten crazy. So I'm not the best at it. I'm not perfect, but it's something that I'm working on consistently to make sure that I have time to rest and that I'm not treating rest as a reward for hitting a goal, but a rest is a part of me proactively showing up for myself and showing up for my goals. And in order for me to be the best me, I need to be rested. So, last but not least, probably one of the most important ones is you don't have to prove your worth. You already belong in every single room you walk into. You are already enough before the email, before the launch, before the promotion, before whatever your next big thing is. You are enough where you are right now. And this is something that I drill. Honestly, I drill into my clients' brains and I drill into my own. Just last week, when I was in Nashville, essentially piloting this new talk that I'm doing, I had an experience backstage that is a little rare for me. I'm always nervous before I speak. My friends will tell you that if you are with me right before I keynote something, you can generally feel my nerves. But I honestly think my nerves keep me sharp because they give me that little extra energy. It's not nerves that are crippling, like I can't show up, but I have to do some breathing. I try and center myself and get myself ready. So during the sound check, what I realized at this event was all speakers trying material, getting feedback. So it was everybody who is used to being on a stage. And I don't get to see other speakers speak most of the time. I'm generally the speaker there. So being with other speakers and watching their level of preparation, y'all, I got in my head. I got in my head, and it had been a while since I really felt such a strong level of imposter syndrome. But I had to correct myself in the moment and really go back through these 6 tips that I gave you today, because I'm there because I'm worthy. I prep how I prep. This was a hell yes for me. I was excited. I planned in the way that I plan. But what I saw that day, I saw how other speakers prepared themselves, and it was very different from my level of preparation. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I not going to do well? Am I going to stink? Should I have planned like that? Like, I saw a speaker who wrote where they were going to stand on the stage to deliver certain points. I have never planned to talk to that level. And it just made me kind of sit back for a moment. And I had to reflect and really give myself a good pep talk in that, Kimberly, you know your stuff. You are a multi 5 figure keynote speaker who consistently gets raving feedback from colleagues, from clients, from companies. You know your stuff, and how I approach things may be different from someone else's, but that does not mean that it is less than. It does not mean that I'm not supposed to be here. I am the best me because I've been doing it my way, and I am worthy of being in the space, and I'm going to kill it. And I literally had to sit and talk myself off that ledge, kind of zone out, stop looking at what everyone else was doing, and I honestly killed it. I killed it. And that's not to toot my own horn, but I think that if I did not give myself that pep talk, if I allowed myself to continue to spiral and even sit and watch more people in their preparation to psych myself out, looking for someone who did it like me or to see more tips, I would have bombed, because I would have been in my head thinking about all the things everyone else does and how I don't do that. And that's why I'm not going to be as good. But I literally pulled myself back. I did my sound check. I went back to my hotel room. I got myself some food, and I prepped how I prepped, and I leaned into being me. And I think that's probably the 7 that is not on this list, is that the more you lean in to being you, the more authentic you are, the more you allow the world to see, the better. Remember it every single day. And with that, y'all, I think this is just where we're going to end for today. Share this with someone who needs this pep talk. Listen to it again if you need to, even if you just need these last few minutes as a pep talk to yourself. But I hope that your next move, as always, is your very best move.